Hey everybody, it's Broken Nose Gaming here. As promised, I'm going to do a World of Tanks Blitz video. So we are going to be reviewing the Kampfpanzer 70 or Kampfpanzer 70, or if you were to translate it into English, Main Battle Tank 70. Now before I do, there was a really cool offer in the store. I don't think it's going to show up anymore, but essentially it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 camo containers and then one mystery certificate. So you're guaranteed a tank from this mystery certificate, and then you're guaranteed a camo of some sort from each one of these. So it's like a big variety. I think it's like one of each one of the ones that they've done. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start off with these. I'm going to do the camo first. So we'll start with the brutal concealment. And we got, okay, a platoon smasher. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that looks cool. Brown on the top, or I mean green on the top and brown on the bottom. That's cool. It's look like battle axes. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Get some splinters and some free XP certificates. All right, so this one you can either get. They're basically red colored ones. So let's see what we get. And oh, okay. I have a few of these. Crimson Fury. I like this red camo. It's neat. 100 splinters and more free XP certificates. And then next, these ones are basically blue colored ones. And let's see what we get here. Oh, okay, cool. This one's animated. It glows, I think. Yeah. Alright, that's cool. It's a rare one. More free XP certificates, more splinters. Cool, cool, cool. These ones were my favorite containers at the time. They were basically, let me see if I can, no, I can't show you. But there was like a desert, winter, and then regular ones, and they were really cool. They were very realistic looking compared to some of the other tank camos out there. So let's see what we get. Alright. Oh, cool. This one's a winter one. I kind of like the desert one better. I've used a lot of this style one on my tanks, but that's still cool. 100 splinters and 15 certificates for XP. Alright, so next one here. There are 2 animated ones, which are the purple ones, and then 2 regular ones. So let's see what we get. Oh, okay. I actually don't have this camouflage, and I've wanted it, so that's cool, just to have it in my inventory. I do collect camouflages. I do eventually put them on my tanks, but I'm very selective, and I like to have a big variety. For some of you, this is probably the dumbest thing in the world to do. For me, I like these camouflage containers. And more XP certificates and more splinters. And our very last one, there's 2... Ooh, time tested. I kind of want that one, I think. I think that one's a green one. I've been trying to get that one. Hey, alright, cool. I actually really like this camo, and I haven't been able to get it in anything, but yeah. It's another kind of realistic looking camo. Green. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm very happy with that. 200 splinters and 200 free XP certificates. So I got 6 camos. 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6. Cool. Don't have them. And then I got 100 of these, which means I can convert them into 10. And then I can convert 10 of them into 1. And that gives me a total of 28,000 free XP. So, thank you. And now our last thing is the mystery certificate. This is probably the best part of it. It does come with 2 other things, actually. It's $10, and you get a emoji light, and then you get the spear and sear, which is like a flamethrower that goes on the top of your tank. And it starts off in the battle, and I think when you kill tanks it goes off. But for $10 to just get like a guaranteed tank, that's kind of cool. Granted, yeah, you can get all the way down to like a tier 5 tank, which kind of sucks, but the other stuff that you get with it, if you don't have camos or you want those other sort of like, you know, aesthetic add-ons and stuff like that, it's worth it, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open the mystery certificate. Let's see what we get. And oh, I already have this tank. What a bummer. That's okay. Yeah, so I got a tier 10, but I already have the AMX 30B. So they said they would give you credits instead. So I got a total of 6 million credits. All right, that's cool. If you don't have any premium tanks, then this isn't a bad bundle. But okay. So that's not bad. Got back to 11 million credits. I've blown a lot of credits recently on the weekend event that's going on right now, the St. Patrick's Day. You can get British tanks and American tanks at discount. There are other discounts when it comes to unlocking equipment, things like that. And I actually will probably unlock some more tier 10 equipment with the credits that I just got. So this is the other one that you can get. Looks like some brass knuckles. I think I kind of like the axe better. Anyways, so the Kampfpanzer 70, or Kampfpanzer 70, whatever. It's a unique tank in the fact that it is, as far as I know, unique to World of Tanks Blitz. It's pretty nice. I like this cavalry camo on it. I'm not gonna sit on the stat screens here too much. I think I'll just go ahead and I'll bring up some of the stats. I'm gonna compare it to its tier 9 siblings, which is gonna be the E75, the VK4502B, and the Moistun. So let me go ahead and I will get that stat screen up. And again, these are all base stats. They do not have any modifiers or consumables or provisions included or equipment included on these lists. So wait a minute, I may have lied. Hold on just a second. Jump cut. Yeah, whoops, my bad. So I fixed my little comparison screen here. I will now throw up the correct comparison screen. Now again, this is all base stats. No consumables, no equipment, nothing that's going to change the base stats. If we look at the DPM right away, there's only one tank that's worse, and that's the Moistun. 1976, that's, I mean, it's only a little bit worse than its siblings, but 1976, if you look at penetration, it's only 1 millimeter behind its siblings, so it's basically on par in my opinion. The big thing about the Kampfpanzer 70 is the alpha. It has a whopping 560 alpha versus the siblings 460, 100 more alpha per shot. Now this does come at the cost of a lower rate of fire, which was why you have less DPM. This is definitely like a peekaboo tank. And then if you look at the reload, 17 seconds stock. That's, I mean, wow. And then if you look at the caliber of the gun, it is a 152 millimeter gun, which would explain why it has a higher alpha. And strangely enough, it has the same shell velocity as its siblings, even though they are sporting 128 millimeters. If you look at the weapon handling, this is kind of interesting. The aim time is 2.4 seconds, so it's better than its siblings. And in terms of dispersion, it's actually exactly the same all across the board. So again, this is kind of a weird tank. If you look at the depression, or no, let's not look at the depression yet. If we look at the dispersion on moving, rotating, or turning the turret, it is on par with the E75 when it comes to moving and rotating the tank, but it is better than all three tanks when it comes to moving its turret. So 0.12 on rotating its turret, and then 0.18 on moving or rotating the tank, which is better than both the VK45 and the Moistun, and it's on par with the E75. Now we can look at gun depression. It has the worst gun depression out of the 4 at 6 degrees, and its gun elevation is only 15, which again is the worst. Only coming close would be the 4502B. If you're gonna ridgeline with it, you can't use really steep inclines. You have to have mild ones to keep your turret hull down. If we move on to the mobility department, this isn't a bad tank. 40 kilometers forward and 15 backwards. It matches the E75. It does surpass the other two. Obviously, it's going to be better than our super heavy there at the end at 25. And when it comes to its engine power, it has a mere 750, which is actually the weakest of the 4 tanks. It'll obviously correct itself when it comes to the weight of the tank being much lighter than our other heavy tanks here. Its power to weight ratio isn't terrible. It's the best out of the group at 14.9 horsepower per ton, almost 15 horsepower per ton. And its effective horsepower per ton is also fairly good compared to its siblings. Its terrain resistance is actually pretty similar to its siblings outside of the 4502B's super soft resistance being 1.8, and for some reason it says the Moistion has a better super soft terrain resistance at 1.7, even though you can see everybody has 1.7 outside of the 4502B. So maybe it's like 1.69 or something weird like that. Traverse has better traverse at 27. That's still not fantastic. Camo, it's kind of weird. It's got the same camo as an E75. The 4502B somehow has better camo, but I'm not gonna think on that too much. It is what it is. Its credit coefficient is obviously better than all the other tanks because it is a premium. Though if you look at an enrichment boosted tank, the Moistion can actually compare to the Kampfpanzer 70. Its view range is the same as its siblings, 250 across the board. It has the least amount of HP at 2050 HP versus the 22, 23, or even 2400 of its siblings. And like I said, the weight, this is where obviously the power to weight ratio makes sense with it having such a lower power engine. It's only 50 tons versus 91 tons, 78 tons, or 169 tons of its siblings. Now, this does come at the cost of armor. If you look at its turret armor, it is the weakest at 210 on the front, it is the weakest at 95 on the side, and it's the weakest at 63 on the back. And that's the same thing with the whole armor. It is the weakest at 125 on the front, it is the weakest at 94 on the side, and it's the weakest at 62 on the back. Now, one big thing to take into account here is the Kampfpanzer 70 is essentially a main battle tank, because that's what the name of the tank translates into English. So you're looking at a different era of tank. So it's kind of hard to compare it to its siblings when it comes to like modern tanks, but I mean, unless you wanted to look at maybe like the Chieftain Mark 6, which is a tier above it, this is the closest that I could use in comparison. But yeah, it's a main battle tank, so it's not going to have crazy super heavy armor like its siblings do, but it still is able to, you know, make itself work. Let's go ahead and I will throw up a replay here and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so we're going to be loading into a skirmish battle, which is 5 versus 5, and we're going to be on Normandy. We're going to be on our right-hand side there. Instead of the whole map, they basically cut it in half. Now, it's 2 tier 9s, 3 tier 8s. I have a Waffenträger Alpha Sophia, myself, and then I have 3 auto-loading heavies. I have a Samoa, I have a AMX 5100, and then I have an Emil 1. So, a lot of tanks with long reloads in this match. With my crew and my provisions, I can get my reload down to about 16 seconds, 1 whole second less than regular, but that's still a long reload. I personally use calibrated shells to ensure my tank's shells are going to penetrate. So I pop over the hill here. You can see that gun depression isn't great. The Waffenträger is not looking at me, so I put 553 damage into him, which is a little bit under my average. There in lineup, you have an IS-5, an IS-6, a Defender Mark 1, and an ST-1. So everyone's kind of over on this side. I can't really make that hill work that well for me, because if I keep popping over, I'm going to expose my hull, and my hull's pretty weak, so they can take me out. So I decided to go over to the left-hand side. I'm going to try and help my Emil and my Waffenträger out. And I see the IS-5, I see the Defender, and I see the IS-6. Now, I figure the first thing to get rid of is the tank I can actually kill in one shot, so I get rid of the Defender Mark 1. That puts us up 1 tank already. and now I just have 3 heavies and a tank destroyer. The Waffenträger over there does not look like it's going to last very long. It's getting down to a one-shot, so I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do to these heavies. Now, I'm going to peek around the corner here, and I'm just kind of hope for the best. Luckily, the IS-6 has its shoulder exposed to me, and I managed to ammo rack the tank. And now we're up 2 tanks, and that Waffenträger is down to 16 hit points. I'm hoping that the AMX is going to be able to take him out. Unfortunately, he does not, and he gets taken out by the Waffenträger. I cannot get a shot on that ST-1, so I decide to rush both the tanks. I take 2 hits, but I do take out the IS-5, and now we're up 3 tanks. I kind of figured that was worth it. I had the hit points to go ahead and rush the enemies with. Was it the smartest move? No, but it did get us the win because, as you can see, I also managed to take out the ST-1. So that ends the match, and I come away doing almost 3,000 damage. I take out 4 of the 5 tanks, and I also ammo rack the IS-6. And if you look at how much credits I end up making, I do almost 100,000. I do 90,000 net with 103 as my gross. And if we bring up the little the little chart here, you can see I am top of the table when it comes to damage. But I still had some help behind me, especially with the AMX and the Emil. But yeah, that is the Kampfpanzer 70. I am a fan of this tank, though it did take me a while to learn how to play this tank. This is not the easiest tank to play, in my opinion. This was one of the first good games that I had in the tank, and I figured I'd show my first good game instead of a game where I'd been finally sort of just figuring the tank out. And yeah, that's our replay for today. I do thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video, everyone. Take it easy. Bye-bye.